So to build our interactive website mockup, what I've done is I have used Photoshop to create the different screens that I want to use in this mockup. Now, Photoshop has introduced a cool feature called Artboards, which allow you to lay out all of your designs as separate boards. And when you do that, what's really powerful about using the artboards is I can very quickly add a new board that's a duplicate or a copy of an existing board and then work on modifications from there. So that when I had my individual production photo boards, I just duplicated it and changed which image was being displayed in each one of these boards. And what we end up seeing is all of those boards and all the artwork ends up living in all of the layers for my project. Each board is effectively a layer group. So I can see how I have each of those occurring in Photoshop. So I encourage you to dig deeper into using artboards. It's pretty cool and very useful in a project like this. And let me know either in the comments or directly if we need a tutorial on how to do that. If you use the artboards to generate the files from it, we use the artboards to files option under export, and then you can choose the format that you want to export. I used PNG 8. There's no transparency, so that gives a smaller file than PNG 24. And I like PNGs better than JPEGs. And then you just choose the destination, a prefix if you want it, etc. So you could export a single artboard or all of the artboards. But as I said, using the artboards is really a nice way to start once you have a board. If I just click on the board, then we will see how we have options. We can rename it. We can ungroup them. We can duplicate. So there's all kinds of good options. Or I can just click and create an empty one like that. Then I could copy over the assets that I want. But because I'm trying to make this consistent, using the artboards allows me to build a consistent experience here. So after everything is exported, then we're going to go over to the web browser and bring our assets, our images, into Marvelapp.com. So I've created my account and logged in on Marvelapp.com, and now I am going to create a project. We can see how it's kind of hinting at me, do something, because I don't have any current projects. The free account will give you up to 2 projects that you can work on at a given time, and that should be sufficient for what we are doing. So I can click on prototype, and I'll call it web mockup. I can choose the resolution that I want to work on and click on create project. Now, we could use their ready-made designs and try things out and play around with it. I can click upload over here, or I can just drag my designs to this window. So if I click upload, select, it's going to ask me to select my files that I am working with. So I will go to that folder and I can choose the different files that I am going to use. So shift click if they're continuous, or command or control click to grab individual ones. Click upload, and we can see how it's now uploading them. Now once it uploads, I do want to modify the order. The home page I want to be first, so I will drag that over to the left. So we have the home page, then I'll have my cast, and then under behind the scenes I have my production photos that are kind of like an image gallery. I've put the little arrows on them so we can navigate back and forth. Now to create the interactivity, we then click on prototype. When I click on prototype, we'll see the image loads. There it is, waiting for me to do something. And the way that it works inside Marvelapp is we simply create a hotspot. So in this case, I'm going to highlight cast. When I do that, I get to choose which artboard I'm going to go to. It tells me this is the current one, so I don't want to go there. So I can click on the one I want it to go to when I click on that hotspot. Then I can click over under transition and decide how I want it to go. So I can have it fade in, I can slide it in, I can pop it in, slide fade. So because I'm signifying that I've gone to a new page in my website, I'm going to choose pop for it. If I wanted to set it up based on actions, so if it was on a mobile option, so if I'm designing a mobile app or mobile site, then I would use these options. So we could add that on a different kind of project, but right now we're designing for mouse interaction, so it'd be a click. Now I'll click close. Now the next thing I can do is I can navigate to my next artboard. We have these arrows here on the side that will loop us through the ones we have. So I can click on the artboard. Now I'm in the cast artboard, so I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm going to make it that I can get back home just by clicking on the banner. That's a common navigation technique that we see on a lot of websites, and we'll close that out. So before we add more things, we're just going to practice with this and see how it works. To see it in action, I can simply hit play. It opens up a new tab, and in that tab we'll see it loads, and here is my website. Now this is part of where Marvel is designed, is for you to share these prototypes, and then people can leave comments, your team members, your client, etc. So now when I put my mouse over this hotspot that I put for cast, we can see there it is. I click, goes to that new page. Now you'll notice this page is scrollable. Now if I click back on the banner, we go back to the home. This page is not. Let's take a look back at Photoshop, and we will see that my cast page is indeed taller. So if I make all of my pages the same width, but some taller and some shorter, it does give me the impression or the illusion of being on an actual website. Okay, so we can close out of this. I'm going to, on this page, add in another hotspot behind the scenes. And now I'm going to bring that to our first page for the production photos. Transition, I'll stick with pop on that and hit close. All right, so based on the content I've made, that's all I have there. Now, normally if I had a trailer built for this movie, I could embed that trailer. So it would embed into my design, but it will do the whole little movie embed overlay, so it's kind of unattractive. But I put the arrow here because on a real site I may want that I could click and then it would play the trailer. I could also build another page that's similar to this one and then create an overlay for where that video is going to go and then have that video on that page. So maybe we'll take a look at that in a little while. But now let's go into the second page here. So we're in the cast page. Now I want to add in a hotspot for behind the scenes. And behind the scenes will also go to that page. Transition with pop. So part of what I'm trying to do is maintain some consistency. Behind the scenes, that's where we already are. So let's add in cast. Then we'll worry about how to navigate those items. We'll add in our return to home. So we've set that up. Now this arrow is disabled because there's no picture to the left. Unless I wanted to, I could have made it so it was perpetually scrolling, but I just took the glow off of it. But here I'll put in the glow. Click to the next picture. In this transition, So if we go into it, I want it to create the appearance that it slides over. So I'll choose slide left. Now, do we have a slide fade to the other direction? Slide fade to the other direction would be nice, then I could use one of each, slide left, slide right, but it only is a slide fade, so it won't work for both arrows, so we'll just use slide left on this. Now, if I go back here, once again, home page, transition, pop, close, cast, transition, pop, close, grab my arrow. This time my transition will be slide right, close, and click to the final picture, slide left, close, and now this will be a slide right to the previous image, close, cast. So as you can see, it starts to become fairly repetitive. We're just engaged in production now as we are setting up our project. So now let's play it and see how it works. So we can see, got the banner, cast, let's click on this arrow, brings me over, that brings me over. So it's pretty slick. Now Marvel, when you click not on a hotspot, it kind of flashes where the hotspots are so we can see it. Now we can see there's the hotspot, behind the scenes, back to my home page. All right, so that is the basics of how to get it up and running. Now, when you want to share this with someone so that they can see it, because it lives online, so we can view it on any computer, we can just simply click share. And when I click share, it's going to give me a link, and that link I can then share with any person that I want. So that's a really convenient way of being able to share your project. So we're going to add in the video screen. So what I want to do is I want to mock up a duplicate of my prototype where I can then show a block for a video to be embedded on that page. So it would be as if I clicked on that screen. So I've gone into YouTube and I've clicked on share. So I'll just repeat. So click on share, go to embed, and this gives me the information that I need. So now I can just copy that, but 560 by 315. So those are going to be important numbers when I get over into Photoshop. So now if I bop into Photoshop here, I want to duplicate this artboard. So I can either Alt or Option drag, or with my home page selected, let's see, I have an option to duplicate artboard, so I'll just choose that. And this is going to be video. And we can see there it is. All right, so now with that, I'm going to just kind of zoom in a little bit. So we're working on the video board. And one of the things that I want to do on the whole thing is I am going to darken it. Now there's a couple of different ways that I could go about doing that. I could just use the marquee tool, select it. Now being an artboard, on a normal document it would choose it when I use the marquee. Yeah, okay, fine. And it would be less, it wouldn't draw outside the margins. But here we can see where, it's giving me the guide. So now I draw and do that. I can add a new layer. I could take that layer, I can fill it with black, and then I could take that black and pull it down. So I'm creating this kind of overlay. I could also have achieved the same thing just using a simple adjustment layer. That would have been another option that I could explore. But I'm going to make it so that it's a fairly dark overlay so we can see a difference between the two screens. And now what I want to do is to create, this time I'm going to add another layer, and let's see, what was the size of that thumbnail again? Let's go back into share. And on that embed code, the 560 by 315, it's showing me that. So if I go 560, which I could have typed those in. So we can see that's how big it wants to put the thumbnail. But the good part is I can draw a larger area, and the video is just going to display within that inside my window of inside the window. Let's go fixed ratio. In this case, we'll go 560, 315. So now as I draw, because I want to make it so it's mostly filling the screen, and you'll see part of what I'm trying to do, and we'll center it within there. That's good. All right, this time I'll fill with black again. Alt or Option Delete fills with the foreground color, so we can see now it's put in that black. So that's where we're going to draw for the video. And then I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to use the round marquee tool and hold down Shift. I'm making a little circle. Command or Control Delete on Windows fills with the foreground color, so I'll just put that. I don't know if I want it to be quite that white, so let's try and find. And just switch what we're working with here. Like this is, we'll fill it. With gray. That's gonna, I think the white was a little too white, so we'll fill that. And then I just simply need to draw a couple lines on it. And I can use a paintbrush, I can use the pen tool, lots of things. I'll just quickly use a very, very small zoom in so it's easier to control what we're doing. I'm just making a little X in the corner here. Now what's cool in Photoshop is if I click with the paintbrush, hold down Shift and click again, it creates a line. So now if I click, hold down Shift again, creates a line. So now I've created that X shape in the corner. All right, so this is now my video artboard. So I'll just scroll over here, grab the artboard tool, click on the name so it's selected. Now what I can do is go Export Artboards to Files and choose Selected Artboards, and I only selected the video one. And it's going into the same folder, so we're good there. Now let's run this, which is technically an action. It crops it down. All right, boom, done. All right, so back into Marvel. Let's go back over here, and we can upload from my computer. This time, homepage, cast video. There we go. And wait, Boom, there it is. All right. So now let's go into the main one. Draw one more hotspot. And this time, I'll scroll to the end. It's going to go to video, and the transition I'm going to choose fade. I think because we're not technically going to a new page, we're creating an overlay, so I think that'll look better. So now, I think if I go this way, it should bring me into the video. Perfect. So I'll just grab my close here and click on the image. We'll choose fade. That'll be nice. And finally, remembering that we still have the embed code on the clipboard, I copied it. Now I'm going to drag a hotspot for my video. And down at the bottom, I'm not choosing the screen where it says link to mail app or embed. This is where we want to embed. So I click under embed, scroll down from email to embed, paste that information in, hit save, and now we're done. So let's go back to the starting page, hit play, and let's see what we made. So I can click here, and the video is there. And the video will play in the background, and now I can click close, and it brings it up. With that fade, it looks pretty much exactly like it would if it was a real overlay on a real video. So that is pretty sweet the way that works. So let's be done with that. Now another thing I can do is go to my project settings on the top right corner. I can change my background color. So if I want it to say be a darker color in the background, not the white around it. So now when I hit play, we will see when it comes up, I think that looks better, or I might even go with the black just to make it, because the white had too much pop. So again, project settings, top right corner. I'll choose black. Now let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's better. It's got a little more pop. So once again, I can click on my cast, I can go back home, I can click and get to the video page, I can get out of the video page, I can go to my behind the scenes, I can navigate through. So it seems like everything's working. So once I'm ready to go, click share, copy the link, and share it with friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, etc. Have fun.